Right then, we are live. Right, 1 second. Let me see if I can clean the lens a little bit. I don't know, maybe it wasn't, maybe it's just me, I don't know, it just looked a bit off. Just looked a little bit blurry. Right, I'm just getting my chat up and then we're ready. Right, chat is up. Can't see any faces in there yet, but I'm sure there will be in a second. Oh, yeah, there we go, 1 second. Got about 1 million tabs open. Right, oh, get that down. Doing it yourself lifestyle. Don't know how you pronounce that. Hey, Mulani. Mulani is the H silent. I think the H is silent. Dr. Doodle Doo, Andrew, and Paul are in there at the moment. So yeah, cool. Right, flip back onto me. So I'll wait till a few more people get in the chat because I will do the little photo portion. Well, the 2 photos I've got, I'll show them in a minute. But this is going to be, I've wanted to do this for a while. I've talked about it in separate videos, like I've talked about little parts of my road to reselling in other videos, and I think I have done a my history video, which was like very early video, but I don't know whether I explained it properly and in depth, and I really wanted to do as a little like 75 episode special, like a proper in-depth look at what I've achieved over the past, well, over my lifetime really, in doing random harebrained schemes, trying different ways to make money online, and do it as a video so that then it sort of highlights my road to reselling, so my backstory. So I kind of wanted to do a video. I've wanted to do it for a long time, and I thought this was a good opportunity, so I thought I would do it on this video. So we've got 10 people in here now. Let's double check the chat. We've got Matt in there and we've got Paul in there. So yeah, please do say hi if you are watching. As I say, I'll wait for a few more people. I've got whoa, not those. I've got like a full 4 pages worth of stuff, so I'm just gonna go through it. You know, feel free to put your comments in the chat, all that sort of stuff, or any questions you have on the stuff I'm talking about. And yeah, I thought it would I think it's quite interesting to see people's journeys, and I really enjoy watching other people and getting to know their backstory and their journeys and things like that. And I thought, you know what, this video is long overdue, so I will do it. So before we get onto it properly, I've got a couple of pics I want to show you just for a bit of a laugh. How many have we got watching now? 9 people watching. Oh, Phoebe's in the chat. Right, so I'll show you these pictures anyway, and then this will give us like a little starting point, and it's a little bit of a laugh as well, just to see this first picture. Yeah, so that's everyone in the chat. So yeah, let's get on with it. Let's not dawdle any longer. I am trying to postpone things because I do want a few more people to jump in the live stream, but I may as well show you the photos now, and then we can get into it. So yeah, I know I was like a little bit early, but I wasn't mega early this time, so that's okay. But I think it was Shakespeare that said, it's better to be 3 hours too early than a minute too late. Is that the right quote? I think it's right. So anyway, I'll show you these little pictures. I'll get this thing up. So in this video today, as I've mentioned, we're going to be doing my road to reselling, and I'm going to be showing you how I got from this cheeky little chap here. Yes, I did print out a photo. I don't think I've ever printed out a photo in my life, or if I have, it's very rare, because, you know, I was of the generation that didn't do the photo printing, you know, print them out. But yeah, how I got from this little cheeky chap here to this guy here in the middle. And there's Daniel and there's my dad on the other side. So that's what I'm going to be sharing with you. Not necessarily the biological side of it. We all know what happens there, but just my career side of it. Not necessarily my personal side, but my career side of it. So Yeah, and I think mine was, it was very different to the traditional, like, I suppose, the traditional childhood, because I have always been around computers and I've always been around technology. Like, since I was very little, I remember my dad having a big, massive block of a computer downstairs, and I would always use it. I was like, to be honest, I do feel like I was the first kind of generation who really got embedded into that technology. And now the generations that are coming through, they're just getting like amazing with technology. You know, they're getting these youngsters. There's like 5, 6 year olds who are pro with computers and stuff. But I always consider myself like that bedding in period, that bedding in generation that were that really, when technology started to ramp up, because obviously computers were around a lot longer than that, but when it really started to ramp up, I was there, and that was like my childhood. So yeah, anyway, so what was I talking about? So that leads me on to talk about the stuff in the book. So I'll get the book out. I'll just check the chat again. Oh, it's just Glitter Sunflower is in the chat. So first off, I wanted to do a little bit. Oh, wait. Where is it now? A little bit of an about me section, or how I perceive myself. And I wanted to be very unbiased with this. I wanted it to be very straight. And I didn't want, because, you know, humans as a species, we're very biased. We're either biased to ourselves, or we're biased to a spouse, or we're biased to our children. And I like to get away from the whole one-sided thing quite a lot. You know, I don't like bias. I do think it's a bad thing in the major part. I mean, when you're biased towards someone because you love them, that's a different story. That's completely fine. That's lovely. But when you bias and you're talking about something that is like technology or something to do with your job, the bias can then distort things a little bit. So I try to be very unbiased. So I've got this little about me section. So about me, I don't know where my personality comes from. I honestly do. I don't know whether it's my disability. I don't know whether it's other people, my environment. Don't know whether I was born with this personality. It's a question that you're never actually going to answer, to be honest. And then I thought I'll do like, who am I? So I'm a person who has quite a lot of drive. I am I feel like I'm a little bit stupid in one sense of the word. Again, I'm being very unbiased, so I'm not necessarily trying to personally attack myself, but I'm just being unbiased. And I feel like I've got a lot of willpower. I do feel like that is something I do have. But also, on top of that, I do feel I'm a little bit ignorant with things, but I suppose everyone is. The other one is I am sometimes afraid to step up if something needs doing. So whether that's in my business or whether that's personal, I do feel like I'm the kind of person who can be afraid to take that step sometimes. So yeah, that was that one. It sort of seen me through life, that one. I've always had that a little bit. I'm just gonna delete these comments in the chat. One sec. Remove. Oh, block. There we go. I hope that was a scammer, and I've not just blocked some random person. But right, anyway, I blocked him anyway, whoever he was. So, and then the other thing is, I feel like I've got I'm actually average intelligence. Like I've done, you know, what's the test called? What's the test called? You know, the IQ, that's it, IQ test. I've done an IQ test, and it, you know, I was in the average. But I like to think I have more knowledge than I do. So that, again, I'm being unbiased. That's how I feel. I feel like I'm good at sticking with something. And I feel like I'm good at sticking with something, but if I have a lot of passion about it, and that sort of flows into what I'm going to be talking about in the bulk of the video. So you'll see that actually come through in the rest of the stuff I'm going to talk about. So yeah, I do feel like I'm good at sticking something, but only if I'm really, really passionate about it. And I'm great at working towards goals. I love having goals, and that comes into my reselling quite a lot. I feel like I'm an eccentric, someone who likes to break away from the social norms, the things that are acceptable maybe, and I like to daydream and fantasize. I am someone who kind of has faith in themselves, but it's like I wrote down here when absolutely needed. I don't feel like I have faith in myself 100% of the time. I feel like I only have faith in myself when it's like absolutely needed, which is kind of odd. And then I've also wrote down has a love for the infinite possibility of life. So I do. I have a very open mind. I feel like there's a lot of possibility to life. It can go in any direction you choose. So yeah, that is something I really have. But that was like a little bit more personal, and that I wanted to do that like a little character profile maybe, but on a real person, because character profile is like fictional. But yeah, so that's what I wanted to do there. Now we're getting into the sort of stuff, my amateur time, right? So my amateur time. You know what? I might sit down for this. Let me just. I wasn't sure whether I sit down or stand up, but I'm gonna sit down. Sorry about this. One sec. We'll get there in the end. We'll get there in the end. Right, there we go. Right. Whoa. There we go. So, hi all, what's going on? Is Ads reading the Bible? No, I was just doing a little character profile on myself, David. It's good to have you in the chat anyway, because we've had a spammer in here, so if you see any spammers or anything, you can just block them. So this is, I'm going to talk about my amateur time in reselling, my amateur time in making money online, because as I said, I was kind of thrust into the whole computer thing. I've always had a computer. I have always been online. I've been interested in making money. So I thought I would do like my amateur. I thought I'd explain a lot of the things I've done in my amateur career. Crap in the Attic says just got 87 Lego promo bags for 25 quid from a charity shop. That is really good. That's like what, 30 pence each or something. I can't work it out exactly, but it's like 30 pence each, isn't it? So that is awesome because they go for, well, I mean, you know, they're not going to be fantastic profit margins, but you could bundle them up, or I would just send them all into Amazon if they're over a £5 each. But still, that is great. Are you going to bundle them up, or do you do Amazon? I don't know, but yeah. So yeah, amateur. So this is between the ages of 8 to 18. Oh, David, if you want to see a random funny picture of me, you can rewind the video to the start after we're done, because there was a little funny picture there. So this is between the ages of 8 to 18. And well, maybe one of the things in here is actually a little bit younger than that. But there's a lot of stuff I've done prior to reselling. I feel like I've done a lot more prior to reselling than I've done in my reselling. I've done a hell of a lot prior to reselling, and this is why I thought I wanted to do this video, to let you guys know that before reselling, before I found the thing that I really love, there was all this stuff I used to do and all this history before I got to the place where I am now. So, you know, it's just nice, and it's also nice for me to look back at this video. So I'm going to reel through a load of stuff that I've done. Loads and loads of stuff. I'll go into detail on some stuff. I'll maybe not go into that much detail on other stuff. Lego never dates. Yeah, Star Wars Chima. Oh, Chima is discontinued now, isn't it? So you might get a bit more for that, but I don't know. Because I know like well, there's a fair few people who like Chima, but then other people don't. But you'll probably get a higher price anyway, just because it's discontinued. So first off, now I went round Ryan's last night, and we were compiling this list because when we were younger, we did a lot of this together. So yeah, so I'll talk about little bits and bobs. So there's a site called Opinion Outpost. It still runs today, and this was basically when I was about 16, 17, and me and Ryan did Opinion Outpost surveys for money. It was a lot better back then than it is now. But yeah, we made some great, that was like the the one thing out of all of these things I'm going to share with you, the one thing that I did to actually some sort of good standard, the rest of them were sort of just like hobbies, or didn't really make me much money, but like I just did them. I enjoyed doing them because I was always trying to find that one thing that I can make a lot of money off. And that's what I always wanted to do. I always wanted to, I didn't know what job I wanted, but I wanted a job where I made money. Like that, I wanted that to be my job, money making to be my job. And now it kind of is with reselling. It is like the nitty gritty buy sell. And I think that's maybe why I love it so much, and maybe why over the past 2 years I've not actually gone off and done all these crazy schemes that I'm going to talk to you about now. So yeah, Opinion Outpost was the one that me and Ryan made the most money on, and the one that I sort of took a little bit more seriously. I did, when I turned 18, I did gambling on 365. A lot of people do that. I didn't do match betting. I just did, the gambling and the casino and stuff like that. I did do some bets, but I didn't do the match betting because I didn't even know what that was at the time. And I made a little bit of money, and then I lost money, and then I made money, and then I lost money. And I think I came out with the exact same amount of money that I had when I went in. But I enjoyed the experience. It was funny. A big part of my life between about the ages of 13 and maybe 15, 13 and 15, was doing Twitter, building up a following of 55,000 followers. Actually, when I was 13, my friend's sister now does social media marketing full time. That is a full-time job. She has millions of followers, or 1 million followers at least, on Twitter. And she used to drive us to high school, me and my friend to high school, because obviously it was his sister. And I was always interested. I used to always ask her, like, oh, what do you do with this? What are you doing? Because she was just doing it as a hobby at the time, and then made it a full-time business. But, what do you do with this? How do you make money and all that? And then I learned how to basically get followers. And then I got very impatient because obviously I was very young as well, and I'm still quite young now. But I got very impatient with myself, and I got to about 4,000 or 5,000 followers, and that is pretty good. But I got impatient, and then I decided to buy followers, and then I bought followers, and I got to about 61,000 followers. And over the course of about a month, all these followers that I had gained from buying them just depleted, because that's what we do basically. With all these fake accounts, they give you these fake accounts, and then they like take them off you or something. I don't know quite how it works, but it depleted down. So then I was left with a Twitter account after a couple of months of this depleting, that had about 4,000 or 5,000 followers again. But then I decided, right, I'm going to do this because I want to do this. I want to do this. And this ties in with what I was saying earlier on about the fact that I am good at sticking at something, but I have to have that level of passion for it. And I did do with Twitter. That was the one other thing that I really did have that level of passion for. And then I built up my Twitter following over about the course of 12 to 18 months. Of every night, literally every night. Because if you want to build a Twitter account, like using what was the site called now? I forgot what the site was called, but it was basically there's a load of sites out there where I've not done it in so long. You can obviously tell, but there's a load of sites out there where you can actually bulk follow people, and then they follow you back. And some of them do, because what you do is you filter out all the inactive accounts via this third-party site. Then you follow a load of accounts, hoping that they'll follow you back. And then what you do is unfollow all of the accounts the next day or the next couple of days that didn't follow you back, and then you restart the process. So you're constantly doing that. And I was doing that every night. I did 5 to 10 pages worth, probably about half an hour to an hour every night. This was after school. And then I'd be thinking, oh, right, well, how can I monetize this? How can I make money off it? I stumbled into sponsored tweets, which I've got wrote down here, Tweet Mob, My Likes, that sort of stuff, all those sites. And I was craving at this time for, I want to make money. I want to do this. I'm, like, yeah, I really want money. I was pretty, I suppose I was filled with greed in a way, looking back. And I mean, I suppose I wasn't that bad because, like, when I was doing it, I was enjoying the process and stuff, and I was continuing to do it even though I wasn't making any money. So I suppose it can't be that greedy. But yeah, I did this, and I ended up stopping. I wasn't making that much money from it. I wasn't doing it in the correct way, particularly. I got my followers back up to a good level, over 50,000 followers, and then, because I wasn't making much money and I was getting bored of it and I was moving on to other stuff, I ended up basically just leaving my Twitter account alone. It's still there. It's still got like 50,000 followers. Probably most of the followers are inactive now, but yeah, that was a big part of my life between 13 and 15. I know I've mentioned that before, but I did want to mention it again in this video. Another big part of my life, I can't remember what year this was. I believe this was actually after Twitter, though. I started doing splash pages, lead capture pages, things like that. So wasn't very good at them at all. I watched endless YouTube videos on loads, all these things I'm talking about. I really delved in. I looked at YouTube videos. I did things. But the funny thing was, I would do it over the span of about 3 days. So I'd do loads of heavy research into them. I would be so excited, I would not do my schoolwork. I would literally, and I don't tell the teachers this, but I was like, any space of time I could get, I was off my schoolwork on the internet, searching, I did my Twitter at school. I was following people at school actually and stuff. I was bulk following Twitter followers at school. And it was, yeah, so I did these splash pages anyway. We'll get onto that. So I did these splash pages. I think one of them I called like rapid weight loss system. And these are the things that are very skeevy. And I went down a little bit of a wrong path, really. Now, this isn't to say all internet marketing is like this, but the pages you go across and they're like, I can make you 500,000 in X number of days and stuff. I didn't go down that route particularly, but I did do things like rapid weight loss system. So I could, I would say on the splash page, make lose X amount of pounds in 10 weeks or whatever with this product. And then what they'd do is I'd have like an email list set up with a site called Listwire, and then they would put their email in. I then get them on an email list. I then send them products, affiliate related products from ClickBank and Commission Junction, and they would buy the product. Well, that was the idea. No one ever actually bought a product. That's how crap I was at it. But that was the idea. Then they'd buy the product, and I would get a commission of that. Like, I don't know what it was. Must have been like 10% or so. And I don't know what age I was then. Maybe 16. I'm thinking maybe a bit younger. Maybe it was when I was doing my Twitter at the same time. I don't know. But again, this was all done either if I was bored in school or after school. And this is the reason why I don't generally take that much time off reselling, because I've always been working. Like after school, I would do this stuff, and it felt very natural to me. And when I started eBay in what I'm now calling my professional career, when I was 19, is what was I going to say? Oh, my mind's gone blank. My mind's gone blank. I've lost my trail of thought. Oh no, it's gone. It's gone. I've lost my thought. David says, all the better for seeing you, Caroline, in the chat. No, I forgot what I was going to say. No, so yeah, that was it. So when I basically transitioned into my more professional career on eBay, that's why it didn't feel that hard. That's why it didn't feel like that much work. I mean, yes, don't get me wrong, eBay is very hard as a full-time job. I know that just as well as anyone else, but the transition didn't feel that hard for me because I'd always been working online, doing things online. So, and I'd also done eBay in the past as well. When I was much younger, well, when I think just again around the same time as Twitter, just before I was doing Twitter, because I moved away from eBay to do Twitter, you see. And I shouldn't have done that. I should have stayed with eBay. I don't know where I would have been now if I did stay with eBay. I mean, if I had stayed with eBay doing the wholesale stuff and then maybe even moving into used goods when I was like 14, can you imagine where I'd be now? Having like 8 years experience on eBay as a seller, it'd be crazy. But yeah, so that was that. That was the splash pages. A little bit skeevy. Maybe went down a bit of a wrong path there. But I'm trying to be quite open with you guys about what I've done. Website buying. I bought a website for. It was meant to be 99p on eBay, but I didn't realize that there's like transfer fees they wanted me to pay and all that, and I ended up wasting 120 quid of my mum and dad's money. And that was a shocker. 120. I've never had good success with websites. Oh my god, I've never had good success with it. Anyway, it's called bikershoptoday.com. I couldn't get it to run the way I wanted. The website didn't seem to be getting much traffic. And yeah, it just wasn't good. I didn't make any money with the site. I ended up just like scrapping the site. I didn't know what I was doing. I was about 14, 15 at the time. Yeah, oh god, no. Oh, horrible thing. Then this is coming a little bit later now. I was maybe 17 when I did this. And this was apps, making money on your phone. Now, if you don't know, this is a massive market now. You can make some real money on your phone with apps. And I'm talking about apps like Receipt Hog. I did that. Roamler, Inbox Pounds. I always wanted to try out an app called Locket, which if you're an Android user, I don't know whether it still exists now, I think it does, but if you're an Android user, it allows you to place ads on your lock screen, and then every time you unlock your lock screen, you get paid for having the advertisement on your lock screen. So that is pretty cool. I always wanted that, but I didn't have an Android phone, and I didn't have money at the time to get, well, I probably did have money at the time, I was 17, because I was working then, but I don't think I liked the idea of spending a lot of money on a phone just to do that. So yeah, I did a lot with apps. I did loads of apps. I couldn't even name all the apps I downloaded to make money. It was so amazing, you know, how many I was downloading. And not plus 500 because that's shares. Well, CFDs, but it was like One Pulse. Yeah, One Pulse. That was it. One Pulse. That was a massive app that made a lot of money. If you had and advertised business, you could call it ads. Oh my god, ads. So yeah, I mean that was the app stage. Blogging. I still have a blog, I believe, somewhere on the internet at some corner. And this was when I was about. Again, I would say roughly 16. I think this was just after the Twitter. Make money online, 2003.blogspot.com. You may go there. It may still be there. I do not know. Probably is because I didn't take it down. So that was I did blogging for a while, and then that led me into a little part of the web that was quite exciting and new at the time because these were all coming through. When I was young, these sites were all new and it was very exciting for me. And I knew every day, if there was a new make money online site coming up, I'm grabbing it. Have I missed much? Any major gossip or scandal? Well, I'll just show you this, Neil. Look at this little bad boy here. Yes. Look at the tie there. I've not got it all done up like this and proper cool. Yeah, bad boy. Yeah, we're just basically discussing my life pre-reselling, and hopefully I'm going to link it into how how I got to become a reseller and why I sort of have done that, what I've done in my life, and how it's affected me being a reseller now. So yeah, I'm just sort of going through a load of different things, and we're having a bit of a chat. It's like you know what it's like? It reminds me of story time or something on CBeebies or Story Makers or something. And just sat here. All I need is like some, I don't know, some makeup on or something, or a bit, some big hair or something. I don't know what we used to have. I'm trying to remember. And I have a cousin who is a Nigerian prince who needs investors in his magic bean business. Yeah, I don't think I'll be doing that. Although some of the things I've done are very, very stupid. But anyway, so moving on from the blogging side of it, that led quite nicely into article writing, and I did article writing for a little bit. Oh, hi, Kirsten is in there. And that led on to article writing. I did that for a little bit. A site called Tekla and Bubbles. Now they actually both went down. They shut down because I thought they were paying a very, very, very good like revenue to their creators. They were paying per view. They were paying their creators per view, and it was like 1 cent a view. So 1 American cent per view. Now AdSense, if AdSense were paying me that, I'd have loads of money now. But that's why I was thinking. That's why I was thinking when we actually shut down a few years later and I revisited the sites. That's why I thought, you know what, that is because of that. They were paying per post like as well. They paid like 1 cent or 2 cents per post like, and you'd get your 1 penny from your view. How they were affording to pay that, I do not know. I don't know. I just don't know. It baffles me. Advertisers surely wouldn't be paying them that much. But as I say, a few years down the line, when I revisited both the sites, both Tekla and Bubbles, they both shut down. And I made some good money with Bubbles, actually. I think I did, in the space of about a month or two, I think I did about $50 or $60. So about 40 quid. And for me at the time, being like, I'd say about 16, that was all right for me. So, you know, it might have only been a couple of quid a day, but pocket money, 15, 16 euro, that's all right. So yeah, I didn't do too bad with Bubbles. I then, well, actually, quite a bit later, I moved on to Buzz Agent, and I've got some products from your room that I've actually still got from doing that. And it's like a reviewing products, testing product site. UK product testing is another one. I was in the hotel business as well, Caroline. Was great for me socially, met loads of great people, fun job. But such hard work and long hours for such little money, David says. Sorry, I'm just taking my shoes off. Yeah, I watched. I know this doesn't have any bearing on the job. It might not really reflect it that much, but I watched Grand Budapest Hotel a couple of years ago when it came out, and I really liked that. You know, I know it doesn't really have much bearing on the whole hotel manager thing or the hotel job, but I just liked it. You know, and I think it would be a cool job to do. You know, I think it would be I think it must be one of the most social jobs as well, doing hotel. I know that barber is meant to be one of the most positive jobs you can do, and like social jobs you can do. I don't know where I got that from, but I've heard someone tell me that. Probably not a viable source, but you know what I mean. So that was that. I then, well, not actually, this was a bit before. When I was doing my Twitter, I set up a website called pocketmoneyvalue.com. and I was selling tweets via my website. I only charged like a quid each tweet, or 50p a tweet. I got a bit of response, but it never took off in the way I wanted it to. As I say, at that time, I must have been 14, 15, when I was heavily doing my Twitter, focusing on that. So that was that. So we're not even close to all the things I've done. It's just insane. YouTube, doing making money with Google AdSense. I've been doing that for 4 years now. So prior to doing this channel, I've had other channels. If you would like to see me smoking a vapor or a cigar or anything, you're very welcome to go to the channel. The channel's still up. I am a complete idiot. I don't know what I'm doing. I think that I'm really hardcore, and I'm actually not hardcore, because I'm thinking, oh yeah, I've got a vapor now. I'm really hardcore. And the channel name is Vapor Vibe. So that's VAPOROUR VIBE. You can go and check it out. I don't care, but it's funny. It's funny. And I also had a vlogging channel with my one of my best friends at the time, actually, called Craig. And we did vlogs and stuff like that. I have a video on that channel that actually really took off. Basically, I was on, what's the site called? I don't know what the site's called anymore, but it's like chat roulette. Chat roulette. I went on chat roulette and I got a fake video. Like some fake video came up of Harry Styles, and I thought it was real. So I was recording this at the time, and I couldn't believe my luck that I was recording, you know, my screen. And I ended up putting that on YouTube. And although everyone said, oh, you know, that's fake, all that sort of stuff, which it probably was, I actually got like 5,000 or 6,000 views on that video, which was crazy. I don't think I monetized that video though, because there was some issues or something with it, copyright issues or something. But yeah, so I've done YouTube, Google AdSense, said that. My earliest humble beginnings in business were a little chat roulette, I know, was a little store with Ryan at the end of the drive selling Walker's crisps. And my dad didn't particularly like it because we'd always do it after, well, it must have been after primary school then, because I'm talking, we must have been, I can only very faintly remember this, so we must have been 6 to 8 years old. And we had my mum helped me set it all up and stuff, and we got a few customers sometimes. We like bought the crisps from like Quality Save or whatever with my mum when we went along with my mum, and we were selling for like 20-25p. It cost us like 10p or whatever. And yeah, it was just fun, but my dad didn't really like it because we were at the end of the drive at always from about 4 o'clock to 5:30, and obviously 5 to 5:30 he was getting in really 5:30. So yeah, that used to be a bit annoying because they have to move the table and stuff, but I can only very faintly remember that. And that's like my real beginnings. I've always loved. The funny thing is, I went through quite a large stage of not liking the principle of money, not liking the fact that we are a society that uses money. And I'm not going to delve too deep in that because that's a personal view of mine, or was a personal view of mine, and you know, other people have different views and stuff, and that's fine. But I never, there was a time that I never wanted to be a capitalist. I never, even though I loved making money, I didn't want to be a capitalist, or I didn't want to be a businessman. I didn't want to be, because I had this like false vision in my mind that you're soulless if you're a businessman. You're like a stereotypical thing, and it's just not true really. And yeah, I went through like that sort of period, but then now I'm starting to realize, you know, I am actually a capitalist, and there's no denying what I am. And I love the fact that I can make money, and I can make money on my own, and I'm independent with that. I love the fact that I'm running a business, and I can't deny that any longer. I mean, so I did go through a bit of a phase of maybe thinking to myself that I just didn't want to live in that sort of world with money and corporate and, you know, all that sort of stuff. And maybe there is a small part of me that still wants to fight the good fight, and it maybe even sounds a little bit like, you know, 60s, in the 60s sort of a revolution, peace revolution and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, I don't know, I have sometimes thought about that. So anyway, let's move on. QME, if you don't know, QME is pretty big right now. It is blowing up quite a bit. I mean, I started it when, you know, it wasn't like mega small, but it wasn't big like it is now. It's getting pretty big. Making money with search. So you just have a little thing, like a little QME thing, add-on, that's it, browser add-on, and you basically can search the web, and then these little QME ads will pop up, and it'll tell you how much you get for each one. It's usually like between 5 and 10 pence, and you'll click it, and then that'll go in your little piggy bank at the top on the browser add-on, and then you can cash out at any amount. And yeah, it is pretty big now. But QME was a good one. I think Ryan said to me yesterday that he's not checked his in ages, because that was one of the things me and him did together, because I've said there's some things that we've done together with this stuff. And he said to me he's got like 5-6 quid or something in there. So he said he's going to cash that out. So, you know, it's just an extra little bit of money there. And hopefully this video maybe gives you a few ideas with other money making ideas other than eBay, because I've done so many, crazy. Yeah, so that's that. Swag Books, which is what's known as a paid to site. So paid to watch a video, paid to open an email, paid to do a survey, paid to search the web, that sort of stuff. And then you get these little swag books, and basically I was collecting the swag books until you can redeem them for PayPal cash or an Amazon voucher, that sort of stuff. So that's that. Slice the Pie, that was a great one. Really good one, this is. It's a music reviewing website where you make money from reviewing music. Now, it is a bit tedious. You do have to have a bit of English knowledge, and you do kind of have to type out a lot of words, but you do get some okay money from it. And if you're fairly fast and you're accurate, you can make some good money with that. I didn't make a lot because I didn't have persistence for it. I think I made like a tenner in the end. But I could see the potential there. The problem was for me was I didn't like typing. I didn't like doing all the reviewing. So I could see there was great potential there, but I didn't have that passion for it. So, you know, I mean, that's why I say it is a great site and people use it and make some good money with it. But I didn't really want to. It's a great site, but I didn't have the passion for it. That was when I was a little bit older. I was about 17, 18 then. And then again, when I was 17, 18, I started doing CFDs. So trading contracts for difference and spread betting, which is different to shares because you don't actually own the shares. You're basically betting on whether it'll go up and down. And I did that for a while, made a bit of money, lost a bit of money, made a bit of money, probably came out with it with a few quid on top of my investment, nothing amazing. This is the reason, right? This is the reason I really love eBay, and this is the reason I jump into every niche. And you see me jump into every niche without worrying, because I failed 1,000 times over. I just don't care. I just honestly do not care about failure. Like, I've failed that many times in my money-making career, in my online money-making career, but I don't care. You know, if I waste a fiver on an item, I've wasted a fiver on an item. You know, that may change when I get my own place or I get my own family. I may become a little bit more scared, a little bit more timid. I might not be as bold with my exploration in terms of new products and stuff. But I just don't feel like, it may be irresponsible to say, but I just don't feel like I'm scared of failure. I don't feel like I care about if I fail. And yeah, as I say, it might be irresponsible to say, but it's kind of what I feel. I'll check the chat in a minute. And then on this page, I've got affiliate marketing, commission junction, which we've already talked about with the splash pages and stuff. So selling tweets on Fiverr. Now, Fiverr is an online marketplace where you can get t-shirt design. You can actually get people to do t-shirt design for Amazon merch if you're doing that. I wouldn't go down that route because I've tried similar stuff in the past for Teespring, which is another like t-shirt design, print on demand, and it didn't really work out that well. So I wouldn't do that. But I sold my Twitter tweets on Fiverr, and I did okay with it. I did actually get a few sales over the course of a few months. I think I got about 10 sales, so I must have made about $50 or something. But as I say, back then, that was when I was doing Twitter heavily. That wasn't my only that wasn't like my only revenue source for Twitter, even though I didn't make that much even throughout all my revenue sources I had on Twitter. There was a period of time when I was actually getting some movement and a little tiny bit of traction, and it did make me feel quite positive because thinking, oh, this is starting to move a little bit. And around that time when I was selling tweets on Fiverr, that was when it was moving a little bit, and it was at least a good bit of pocket money for me. Next, I'm going to talk about my part-time job. I won't go into it too much. Part-time job at the auction house from November 2013 to June of 2015, and then in July, early July, I started dabbling, or very, very late June of 2015, I started dabbling in reselling. I started watching Nick's videos, that sort of stuff. So yeah, so that was part-time job at the auction house. Valuable experience. The biggest thing I learned and this is going to feel like, what the hell? Right, this is the biggest thing I learned. Guy called Steve who worked there, I actually saw him a few weeks ago at the auction house when I was collecting, and he's retired now actually. The biggest thing he actually taught me was, when you're going up and down the stairs, always remember to bring stuff down with you as well as bringing stuff up, so that then you're increasing your efficiency. And that's what I've applied to my business. When I'm taking stuff down, I always remember to bring stuff up at the same time. You may be thinking, that is stupid, that's the littlest thing in the world, but to me, that is massive. And it is massive because it doubles your efficiency if you actually do it. But yeah, that is the one thing that really sticks in my brain, really makes me think, you know what, that is decent. That is a decent bit of knowledge. So yeah, that was that. I'm now going to move on to my amateur experience with eBay. And this was before Twitter. So I must have been 12 or 13. I think I was 12. I think it was about 2008. Yeah, I say that it was 2007 because I know that that's when the account was created. But it might have been 2008 when I actually really started dabbling in it myself, because it was my mum's account. I did all wholesale, well, yeah, kind of wholesale items. And I did have some, now eBay was my thing that I did have. Getting back to, oh sorry, I've not read the chat. Ads, when are you opening the Alien Strip Club? Oh, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, it would have to be when aliens come down, won't it? Which won't be in my lifetime, probably, unfortunately. Taylor says, hey, Ad, sorry, been a while, very busy with website and online stores, taken 6 months for 250,000 plus over 4 shops and spent 0 on advertising and spent roughly an hour a week. What? Oh my God, that is crazy. If you're saying what I think you're saying, that is an incredible feat. You spent 0 on advertising. You thought you'd at least need to spend a little bit. That's crazy. You should speak to my cousin in Nigeria who needs investors. Keeps going on about that. Right, anyway, so yeah, this was like my first, this was like the taste of splendor. This was when I was young. It was when I was really starting out, like really, honestly, this was starting out, and I loved every single second of it. And I don't care how big I get, I will always look back and think that those first sales on eBay, those first buying and selling stuff, that was the sweetest. And yeah, I first went to a disability sports day with a few people from my school, and we got a little goodie bag, and I've told this story before, so I'm not going to go into it too much. I got a rain poncho in there, came back, I said to my mum, do you think I could sell these? Is this something I could sell on eBay? She sort of helped me along with it. I sort of did a bit more research myself, and it turns out I could get them off this wholesale site for, I believe it was 58 pence each. I can remember that pretty well. I ended up in the end selling, I honestly don't know the number, but I bought them in like a box of 25 each time, and we got a fair few boxes of 25. There was a time when I started when I was selling about 6-7 a day. I think, yeah, I did a single listing. So I did a listing with just 1 poncho on there. I think I did experiment in the end with doing 2 ponchos and stuff. And I mean, I was doing this must have been I was doing this a year or so or more. And as I say, I sold a fair few. We were getting quite a lot of orders. We were, we were buying. I bought more when I needed more. I was replenishing, and yeah, it was decent pocket money at the time. And this was before the whole Twitter thing. And then what I did was I had a little flip pad. When I was about 13, I had a little flip pad, and wherever we went, I took that flip pad, and I would go around these little places because I was doing all wholesale stuff. It was like that was my focus. I thought that that's the only way you could do eBay. So I went into these like little gift shops. I remember going to one in not Carnarvon, somewhere around not Carnarvon, but somewhere North Wales. We went on holiday to a site called Bryn Teg, and then we went out for the day somewhere in the local area. and I went to, it's like the Science Electrical Museum somewhere there. I don't know, I can't remember it, but they had a load of stuff in there, a load of toys and games, and I'd write down on this little flip pad because I didn't have a phone back. You know, the closest thing to my phone was I had my crappy little BlackBerry, and if I went on the internet, it cost me money. So, like, when I went in there, I would have this flip pad with me. I wouldn't have my phone. I'd have this little flip pad, and I'd write down all the things. Oh, I like the look of that little thing, or I like the look of that little toy. Then you get home, you get your little laptop out, and then you ended up typing it in. And then thinking, oh, right, well, I can do that. I can buy these here. I used NDA toys a little bit, which, oh my God, I don't like them. I wouldn't use them now. Like, they are overpriced. I really do think that. I mean, maybe some people will disagree with me, but I do feel like they're overpriced for NDA toys. But I used them a little bit. I used other suppliers. I sniped off eBay even before I realized it was called sniping. And yeah, and I went into Stretchy Smiley Men. I wrote down here, I went into playing cards. I went into flying gliders. And then I ended up like stopping. I ended up stopping. I don't know whether it was I lost my enthusiasm. Oh, well, partly what it was I wasn't buying the quantity of ponchos to get any real discount. And I wasn't going to do that. And postal prices increased. There was more people in the market, you know, the past, like a year later or so, a year and a half later. And I was no longer selling as many, so that sort of took it down. I did the flying gliders and other stuff, but they didn't really take off as well as the ponchos had done for me. And basically, that all led to me depleting in motivation. And then that's when I kind of went into the Twitter sort of side of it. But yeah, moving on from that, selling, right, so this is another one. I did this the wrong way. You're going to think I'm mad, right? I went to Quality Save, and you know people sold chuddy at high school. Well, I went to Quality Save, and I bought some mints. I bought a pack of mints, and I was like, oh, yeah, this is going to be great. I'm going to sell these. And, yeah, I did sell them, but I sold them in the wrong way. So I bought, like, a pack of mints for, like, 20p or 15p in Quality Save. Quality Save, if you don't know, it's very cheap. You can get things very, very cheap. And what I did, right, this is really funny. It's like something Mr. Bean would do, or someone, you know, someone really, you know, stupid or something, Dumb and Dumber. Right, I unravelled the pack, and then I said to people, mints are 5p. Because what I did was I analysed how many were in the pack, and if I sold all the pack, I'd make X amount of money. But I don't know why I just didn't buy a load of packs and then sell them via pack, you know, via each pack. So I don't know. That was funny though, because I had like 5p a mint, and then people were actually buying them. But it was funny. It was funny. I did that completely wrong anyway. But you know, I made profit on them, so I'm happy with that. Car boot. Me and Ryan did go to a couple of car boots when we were young, probably 15 at this point, maybe 16, and we got some Victorian glasses. I at this point was interested in the antiques. I'd always been interested in the antique vintage items because of heavily being not brought up, but heavily being around my both grandparents while I was young. I wasn't brought up by them or anything like that, but because that's completely the wrong word. But I mean, they had a heavy impact in my life, and you probably see that in the way I act, in the fact that maybe I'm not so young. I feel like they're sort of traditionalists or something, and maybe rubbed off on me a little bit. I don't know, but I just feel like that might have rubbed off on me a little bit because I spent so much time with them when I was younger. But I watched a lot of Bargain Hunt, watched it every day when I got back from school. Yeah. Oh no, not Bargain. No, Flog It. Flog It was the one that's on after school. I watched Flog It every day when we got after school, and I just loved that. I just loved that sort of side of it. So me and Ryan went to a couple of car boots, got these Victorian glasses. Can't remember how much. Oh yeah, it was a £5. Was because Ryan said to me yesterday when I was prepping this, £5 for these like 6 Victorian glasses. Now she said we were Victorian. We didn't know. I think we ended up selling one, and then that's what Ryan said to me yesterday. And then he thinks the other few, like the other 5 or whatever, still at his somewhere. But we did that. We did end up going to a couple of car boots. Didn't go early. Just went like at 9 o'clock. Basically, we would go once or twice if my mum and dad were going, or going to do one. But yeah, we did that. So I kind of was into the car boots and the reselling somewhat before I even knew it was a proper thing. Because here's the thing, right? I did everything centered around making money online and eBay and all that sort of stuff, but the spark hadn't have been lit yet. As soon as I watched Nick in 2015, it lit the spark properly. It was like, it was kind of like the spark was half lit throughout all my childhood, but it didn't still click properly with me. But then, when I watched Nick 2 years ago, that's when it clicked properly. It was like, yes, I'm in my gear now. I've gone into my gear properly. But yeah, so that was that. Selling my own stuff on eBay when I was a lot younger as well. Obviously quite self-explanatory. Facebook marketing for lead capture pages and Listwire when I was doing, lead capture pages, splash pages, using Listwire as my email marketing base. I had Facebook pages for my different splash pages. But as I say, none of that worked. None of it worked. It was a massive fail. What else? Email marketing I've already wrote down. Bought clicks from a list building site. I actually bought unique clicks from some sort of site. I can't remember what it was. And I basically bought unique clicks so then I would get more people to my email list or something like that. It was a long time ago, but yeah, something like that. Playing shop with my grandma. That was again at the same time as when I had my stall at the bottom of the road. Used to love playing shop and like selling things to my grandma with the little cans and stuff. Actually, that might have been younger than the shop, but yeah, it was around that time. Always wanted. Oh yeah, Ryan mentioned this one. I had a Wii. I had a Nintendo Wii. And I always wanted to sell it on eBay. I kept saying to my mum, "Oh, can we sell the Wii? Can we sell the Wii?" Even if I was using it, I'd be like, "Can we sell it? Can we sell it?" And my mum would say, "No, you just used it the other day." But I had this obsession with wanting to sell my Nintendo Wii on eBay. And the really funny thing is that I thought yesterday when I was talking to Ryan, is that I sell a lot of Wiis now, which is really weird. It's really odd that. Oh yeah, another thing I did. Oh God, here we go. This was over about 5 days. Me, Daniel, and Ryan. Well, not so much Ryan, but me and Daniel. We started painting and we started doing watercolors. And I was all about the money. I was like, oh my God, I'm going to get good at this, and then we're going to sell them, and we could put them in the auction, or we could put them wherever. Go down to the car boot, sell them, or wherever. I didn't know where I was going to sell them, but I was just thinking like that. And I was thinking buy and sell mode. Because that's what I always used to do. I was obsessed. They were crap. My bits, my water. Oh no, it wasn't watercolors. It was oil on canvas. Ken, who's Daniel's dad, he did a watercolor. But yeah, I ended up doing that for about 5 days, and then the spark went for that. But that was really cool. Getting into painting to try and sell them. That's what I put on there. Idle CPC usage of my computer to make money. I downloaded this little program that actually lets you like make like 1 or 2 pennies every like 30 minutes for when your computer is on like idle or like sleep mode or whatever it is. And it's basically money on autopilot, but it's so bad. It was so bad. I earned like 2 pence every half an hour. I think I got it up to about $3.86. That number's coming in my mind for some reason, but like $3, $4 I got it up to, and then I ended up like just deleting it off my computer. But that was a way of making money, a very, very small way of making money. Finally, Ryan actually enlightened me about this one. I had completely forgot, but even though they are still up there, I started to try and invest in silver coins. Like I would buy them off eBay on auction, try and snipe them. I didn't really know what I was doing, but then what I would do is hoard them. I'd actually hoard them, and then like a few months later I'd be watching the silver price, and then a few months later I'd try and resell them back on. didn't have much success. Now, this was way before my reselling again. It maybe been 16, 17 at that time, way before my reselling. It was around the time I first got involved with the auction house, because that's when I really started to get a love of antiques, because I was around them a lot. That's when I started to really learn heavily about banknotes and banknote. I really want to sell some banknotes, but they're so hard to make a margin on. They honestly are, in terms of if you're getting them on, in auctions, because you tend to find a lot of collectors go for banknotes, and auction houses always put them in like small grouped lots, which are perfect for attracting the collectors. So very, very hard to make a margin on them unless you have connections, or maybe you're doing house clearances or something like that, or maybe I don't know, you have an ad on Gumtree, or you have an ad on Facebook Marketplace for old banknotes. But it's quite hard to buy from auction. So coin collecting, buying and selling them. I also tried to collect some like newer coins in uncirculated condition. Didn't really pan out much. I've still got loads of coins in there. I've got about 100, 120 quid worth of silver coins in there, which I'm just keeping and see what happens with them. Right, final page now. So finally was something I did, which was really crap, was Wellesley and Co. and RateSetter, which are, if you don't know, peer-to-peer lending websites where you lend out for a fixed rate, and they basically give you, well, it's like a bank. They give you a fixed percentage over a certain term, and it's a higher percentage because it's more risk. I ended up pulling all my money out because I put like 20 or 40 or 50 quid in, I can't remember, but like 20, 40, 50 quid, something like that. And it just wasn't enough. I mean, even if I was making 8% of 50 quid, it's not a lot, is it, annually? So I ended up getting impatient with that and just pulling out. So yeah, those are two of the other things I did. Obviously now I'm into my shares, but that came, I feel like I'm a bit more mature with the things I do now, because I've had all this back history. I know there are things that I've done even in my what I'm now calling my professional career, because I know there's things that I've done that are outrageous and completely ridiculous and terrible fails, but I do feel like I'm a little bit more. I'm getting there. I think another 10 years and I might be there, but I'm gonna make mistakes. I just am. I'm gonna fail in certain aspects, but yeah. So now we're gonna move on to my professional career, which I believe is the last 2 years and then onward, from here on out. What have I done in my professional career? So I've stuck more to one thing because I've found the thing I want to do forever. And all these days gone by, all this work on all these other little different things were just leading up to finding the one thing I really want to do. Except I suppose I did it in a different way than a lot of other people. Like maybe other people would actually get a proper job, over the course of a few years, and then maybe quit that job and then move on to another one until we found one we like. Well, that was kind of what I was doing, but I was doing it on my own accord, on my own time, until I found this one. And then now I found this one, I'm happy. And I know, like 100% is what I want to do. I just feel it. If you ask Daniel Elaine, every week I said to them, I want to be a different thing. I wanted to be a spy. I wanted to be an opera singer. I wanted to be, I can't even remember that many things I wanted to be. I actually wanted to be an odd job man for a while. I actually wanted to do every single job in the world. So have a different job every day of the week. Like, like Chuckle Vision, like they go to different jobs every episode, things like that. But then now I feel like over the last 2 years, I've stuck more to one thing. I've settled down career-wise, and I actually thought of this as like it's very young what I've done. It's very stereotypical young person. It's almost as if all this stuff that I've been doing prior to my reselling is like me, like sowing my wild oats. In terms of if you were to look at it as a personal side of it, like it's sort of as if I'm sort of dating people or sleeping around. All the things I've done like prior to my reselling have just been like flings and sleeping around, that sort of stuff, if you want to put it in that context. And then my reselling has become my wife. You know what I mean? If you put it in those contexts, I'm not saying that it's my wife. I mean, it just, you can put it in those sort of contexts and make it easier to understand. You used to, here's Ryan on the chat now. You used to walk around ours in a cape. I know I did. Yeah, so that's that. So now, professional, last 2 years, we're coming up to the point in which I've been doing this 2 years. And as of last night, I hit 1,000 active listings on eBay. So I can say that in the last 2 years, I've stuck with eBay. I've got 1,000 active eBay items there. Happy with that. I've actually become an almost, I don't want to big myself up too much, but I almost feel like a bit of a super generalist, because I will literally jump into any niche. And hopefully I've sort of displayed that in videos. I mean, I've done women's clothing, done a few shoes, I've done all the toys, games, which is something I love. I've done video games, I'm jumping into antiques, vintage items now. And I do feel like I've really attacked that well. So that is something that I've done well over the past 2 years. YouTube is a big one, of course. Over 330 videos on my channel, and I've gained over 1,500 subscribers in the last 20 months, I think. Just shy of 2 years, because I've not been doing YouTube as long as I've been reselling. Amazon FBA. I started that, and I've built up an inventory of 760 items, of which I'm reviewing constantly because of the restrictions and stuff. And then finally, the biggest thing is over the past 2 years that I've gained is I've learned so much. I've learned a heck of a lot, including the main one. Here's the main one, including how to provide for myself in one of the most purest forms. Reselling, buying and selling, I believe, is providing for yourself in one of the most purest forms. Obviously, the purest form would probably be actually going out and getting the food yourself, hunting the food, and making your own house and all that. So that'd be like the purest thing, but purest form. But I feel like reselling is one of the most purest forms of being independent and providing for yourself. And I do feel like any money I make is mine. The trouble I had at my old job actually was when I first had my job was I didn't feel like I'd earned the money. I know that sounds insane. It's like you've worked a full day. I broke my back, some days. Yeah, I mean, not literally, but I'm, figuratively, I broke my back almost. I put my back out, doing that every Friday, going up there, and it was a physical job. It was a physical job. So I feel like I put a lot of work in, but even then, I don't feel like I earned the money properly. But now I'm doing this for myself, and I can see the process of turning £1 into £20, and I am doing every single thing to earn that. Now I feel like I've earned the money myself. It's barbaric, because even if you're in a job, you've earned that money. That's a fact. You've earned that money yourself, but I felt like I hadn't earned that money. I mean, I got to a point in my job of being there 12 months, so when, or 6 months, 12 months, when I thought, you know what, I should be paid a little bit more than I am actually paid. But I mean, at the start of my job, I did feel like, I didn't feel like I personally earned that money, and it is weird to think that, Right, that's everything. That's everything. So we've just been over an hour, so that's quite nice, actually, quite a nice length. So yeah, any more questions in the chat just before I go? Ads is a reselling slut. Well, I'm asking ambassador. How much approximately do you net per month? It really depends. Like the slower months of the year, hardly anything. But like the slower months of the year might do 1,000, 1,500. But it's such a hard question to answer, because it's changing for me all the time, because my business is still growing. And the problem is I'm still heavily reinvesting, so that takes out a lot of my net. But if I was to say fourth quarter, it'd be like 2,000 plus a month. but especially this year, that's what I'm definitely hoping for with growth. But you know, slower periods, maybe 1,000, 1,500 with reinvesting quite a lot of money as well. But as I'm growing, it's changing so much. It's still like it's growing so much and it's changing so much. And month on month, you know, 1 month, like if it's if it's in the slow period of the time, like we are of the year, like we are now, it's slower and you don't earn as much. I mean, another month, it really depends. It can be really fast 1 month, really terrible another month. But where do you store your items? I have a special location which I will not disclose where I store my items, but I do have some in the spare room as well. So yeah, I have a few locations where I store stuff now. I did used to only have that spare room though. What's Ryan saying there? Defo not everything. No, I know. What me and Ryan were discussing yesterday. Basically, whether we actually covered everything that we did, because I wanted to make it so then you guys knew like my entire history of road to reselling, and we don't think we've even got everything. We think there's more than that we did. So, and even now I'm still thinking, like, I'm sure there is. So there was probably more bits and bobs than that. But as I said, it was changing so fast back then. Like there was new sites coming out all the time that you could make money with. So we were just jumping onto them. Well, I certainly was. Ryan did a few of them as well. But I mean, I was just on make money, you know, and Ryan will clarify this for me as well. I was just typing in make money online in the search, filtering by last 24 hours to see if there's any new sites or any blog posts about making money online that I could get onto. So yeah, it was changing so much, and we must have done so much more than we even said there. But I hope I've covered a lot of what I've done. I hope that gives you a bit of backstory about me, how it's maybe affected my reselling, how I've got to where I am now. Why I think the biggest thing it explains is why I am able to diversify quite easily, because I've always done that. So, I mean, I'm not a person who likes change, but, you know, the evidence proves that actually I change all the time. So even though I don't like change, you know, I seem to do it so much. So maybe I actually secretly do like change. I don't know. Polishek, do you sell on Etsy? I do not sell on Etsy. I may do, if it gets really big over here and there's a lot of traffic, I'd consider it, but I don't know. I mean, Neil said the other week that don't spread yourself too thin, and I think that does ring true. You know, I don't want to add another platform to my roster, you know, if I'm not capable to keep up with it properly, because I'm only just keeping up with Amazon and eBay with the level I'm at. So, yeah, I mean, sometimes I'm just basically replenishing the inventory rather than, you know, rather than growing it. So, yeah, adding another thing, it's crazy. Blimey, after listening to your story, you packed in so much. I'm exhausted just hearing it. I know it's crazy, isn't it? It's crazy. And I think it does explain quite a lot for you guys, and hopefully it will do, about my personality, maybe my personality, I don't know, my focus on reselling, maybe my drive towards reselling, maybe it explains why I love reselling so much. I don't know. I just wanted to pack it all into one video and really show you more about me, so that then we all feel more connected. And obviously, if other people want to do these videos, I'd really enjoy watching it. So if anyone else, you know, who's a reseller YouTuber, or maybe you're not a reseller YouTuber, but you know, maybe you want to become one, then yeah, shoot one of these videos out, because they're pretty cool. I've really enjoyed talking about it as well. And as I say, I would enjoy hearing someone else's story. So yeah, I'll leave it there, guys. 1 second. How your neighbors see your business? Actually, quite a few people around here also work from home. Like there's a couple of people across the road and actually next door. They're both self-employed. The guy next door mainly works from home with his business, and the guy across the road actually does landscaping. So, you know, I mean, neighbors are fine with it, really. Apart from maybe sometimes when I'm doing a lot of sniping, they might have to take parcels in and stuff, but I don't know their opinion on that. You know, I think they're fine with it. I think they're fine that maybe the odd time you have to take a parcel in for me, because I mean, we do it for each other around here. You know, well, if someone has a parcel to take in and they're not there, then I'll take it in for them. You know, so we kind of do it. You know, do it for each other. But yeah, if you only spent so much energy pursuing women, I know, just think of the things I could do. But yeah, right, we'll leave it there, guys. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you did enjoy this sort of little meandering, this sort of little what do I want to say, nostalgia tour, I suppose. Well, maybe it's a nostalgia tour for me, maybe not for you, but yeah, thank you for joining me. If you did enjoy it, please do give it a thumbs up, and I will see you in the next one. I've been promising a sales update for ages. I have done it, but for some reason I have no motivation for like editing it. I don't know why, but sales updates for me, they feel like really tough to do. Like they feel like they're starting to become a chore to do. I don't know why. I mean, I think it's because I have to edit them, and I know that I come on here and it's live. You know what I need to do? Live sales updates. That's what I need to do. As long as if I can get the screen capture software on and sorted. I still don't know how you do that, but if I can get that sorted, I should be able to. I should be able to. I'm all right with technology, so I should be able to. But I can do that, and I'll do them live because it's so much easier for me. You know, so much easier. So yeah, we'll see anyway. So yeah, so can I see your items, please, Polish Shack? My store. I can message you my store, or you can message me on my YouTube, and I'll give you my store name. Yeah. Anyway, right. I will see you very soon. Thanks for watching, guys.